What's up guys, it's me Jeremy. Throughout the history of Hearthstone, there's been loads of really overpowered cards that have completely shaped the game. And every now and then it's fun to take a look back at what used to be, especially since quite a few of the cards on this list are from Hearthstone's Alpha and Beta. Now keep in mind, as we go through these, that realistically my ordering of the list probably isn't that great, so it's more about the fun and nostalgia of the cards. And in addition, quite a few of these cards were from Alpha, so there's no video footage that exists of them. So I will try to get a video clip for every single card, but for some of them we'll have to stick with just the image. Anyways, let's get started. Number 20 is Cult Master. This awesome 4-drop had its stats shifted around quite a bit, but way back in Alpha, at the peak of its performance, Cult Master existed as a 3-attack, 4-health creature. Cult Master is quite a unique card that allows you to trade off your board but still retain card advantage, making the effect extremely powerful, and with some really solid stats on it, the card was pretty much played in every single deck due to the raw value that it would give. At number 19, we have Force of Nature. Back in beta, this card costed 5 mana, and in combo with a lot of the other druid cards being really powerful back then, the Force of Nature Savage Roar combo was ridiculous, and being able to do it 1 mana earlier gave you some way crazier options. And the card is still crazy strong too, even after the nerf, played in pretty much every single druid deck. Next up at number 18, we have Twilight Drake from beta. At the time, this creature would get +1 health and +1 attack for each card in your hand, so popping out some 8/8s for 4 mana was pretty crazy on a lot of classes. This card was run in almost every single deck and really shaped a mid-range metagame at the time due to the raw power of this creature. Capping out at number 17 is Adrenaline Rush. This rogue card that was removed from the game costed 1 mana and had the effect to draw a card with the combo to draw an additional card. A 1 mana draw 2 cards spell for rogues really complements the tendencies of the deck to give up card advantage in favor of tempo with things like Preparation and Shadow Step, so an option like this for a low mana cost draw for rogues proved to make them crazy powerful, and so the card was removed. At number 16, we have the old Blood Imp. A while back, this card was a 1/1 creature with stealth that gave all of your minions +1 HP, and I remember that this card made Murloc Rush decks extremely powerful, and just the raw stats of this card would give you for 1 mana was just so insane, and the stealth made it so difficult to kill that this card really shaped the entire metagame at the time to revolve around aggressive Warlock decks that used Blood Imp to secure their board. At number 15, we have Mind Vision. Way back in Alpha, this card costed 4 mana and had the effect to steal a random card from your opponent's hand. It's quite a crazy play, and taking cards out of your opponent's hand proved to be ridiculously powerful. And I thought priests were annoying enough already. This card could have definitely led to some rage-induced moments. At number 14, we have Sylvanas Windrunner. Sylvanas used to cost 5 mana to play, and having an already crazy powerful effect that really has an impact on the board, having the card cost only 5 mana made it super powerful and really shaped the metagame to be more mid-range focused and silence heavy, and was realistically played in pretty much every single deck at the time. At number 13, we have the only card on this list that still exists in the game in its current state, our good friend, Dr. Balanced. And with it being played in upwards of 80% of decks nowadays and shaping the big game hunter meta completely, Dr. Boom has proved to be a very powerful card, which despite its RNG nature, has really shown to just be so powerful by itself, especially when the RNG goes your way, that it will quite often finish out quite a lot of games. For number 12, we have Tink Master Overspark. Despite the somewhat RNG elements, when you could pick which creature to turn into a Devilsaur or a Squirrel, this card was crazy powerful, being the only neutral form of hard removal that has ever existed in the game. It didn't even matter if you got the 5/5 Devilsaur honestly, since most of the time you were using it on something like a Savannah Highmane or a Ragnaros, and if you did get lucky and got the Squirrel, you would pretty much just win the game outright. For number 11, we have Leroy Jenkins. He didn't get nerfed too long ago, but with this crazy charger only costing 4 mana to play, the amount of combos and unfair finishers that he enabled was just off the charts, and a lot of decks like Miracle Rogue were crazy overpowered because of the finisher he provided. He still gets played occasionally after the nerf, but the lower mana cost really did a ton to enable some really unfair combos. For number 10, we have Undertaker. Before it was nerfed, it would gain +1 attack and +1 health for each Death Rattle minion played, and like with Blood Imp before it, it's shown that giving aggressive decks creatures with a lot of health makes their openers completely unstoppable, to the point where a perfect counter can't even defeat some of the Undertaker openers. You would often just flat out win a lot of games just for drawing Undertaker in your opening hand at the time. At number 9, we have a card that a lot of you might not have seen, and it's Illidan Stormrage. Way back in Alpha, he was a 7 mana cost creature with 7 attack and 7 health, with the effect of both players discard 3 cards and draw 3 cards. Discarding cards from your opponent's hand proved to be crazy overpowered, and quite often you would play him with only 1, 2, or even 0 cards in your hand, leading to some free draws while also screwing up the combos and late game creatures of your opponent quite effectively. At number 8, now we're starting to get into the really crazy cards. We have Mana Spring Totem. Being a 4 mana 0/1 creature, you wouldn't really think that this card is too strong on paper, but with the effect to make all of your cards cost 1 less, you could pull off some crazy shenanigans with Knife Juggler and Brewmaster, for example, to give you infinite juggles, and so you could just stall the game until you drew the combo pieces and then kill someone in 1 turn from no board. At number 7, we have the old Warsong Commander. Even after the nerf, this card is crazy strong, but the effect used to be to give all of your minions charge, so you could pull off some crazy combos with things like Molten Giants and Pandas, and requiring less cards than the Mana Spring combo to pull off, killing someone from no board in a deck where you can stall really well does tend to be quite overpowered, and so the card was rightfully nerfed. At number 6, we have the old pint-sized Summoner. Back when this card gave you a 2 mana cost reduction, if you played this card on turn 2 and it lived, you literally just won the game. 2 mana for free with no restrictions on the type of creature is such an insane tempo swing that so many games were decided just by who drew this card and who didn't, since if it lived, you could often continue to protect it behind high cost taunts and stuff, and innervating every turn for free led to some crazy boards. At number 5, we have Savagery. Back in beta, the card had the effect to deal damage equal to your attack to all enemy minions, and giving druids this massive board clear was crazy powerful. And in alpha, the card actually costed 2 mana to use, and so the board clears were just so powerful and gave druids so much removal that the class was so insane and was the top dog by a long shot until the nerfs toned them down. At number 4, we have Starving Buzzard. The card had the same effect that it does now, but in its most powerful state, it was a 2/2 creature for 2 mana. And for hunters, they've always kind of been this class that gives up card advantage for favor of damage and tempo, and giving them such an insanely powerful draw card made the deck so ridiculously overpowered at the time that the meta at the time was literally you either played hunter or played a direct counter to hunter, and still lost to hunters a decent amount of the time. At number 3, we have Edwin vancleef. Way back, this card had the same combo effect as it does now, but it was actually a 1/1 creature. But it had stealth. And for rogues, you would end up being able to easily play a 7/7 stealth on turn 3 with preparation, and possibly even a 9/9 or 11/11 if you had the coin with stealth. And of course, if you waited a few turns, it got even crazier, to the point where if you drew this card, it would probably just win the game for you since it was guaranteed to stick due to the stealth. Taking on the silver medal, we have Natpagle. Now, the Master Fisherman was not in the spotlight for quite some time due to a bug that existed for quite a long time, but the old effect of drawing at the end of the turn, in combo with having 5 health instead of 4, made it so that games were just completely decided by him. If you drew Natpagle, played him before your opponent did, on turn 2, you would just win the game outright, because he was so hard to remove with so much health, and you could constantly just waste cards for tempo with him drawing you so much. And lastly, taking home the gold, we have Unleash the Hounds. Back in beta, this card costed 1 mana and had the effect to give all of your beasts +1 attack and charge. My most memorable Hearthstone moment actually came from this card, where I did 28 damage to my opponent from almost no board on turn 4. Unleashed was a crazy one-turn kill enabler, and with some cards like Timberwolf and Young Dragonhawk, the combos were just insane. And unlike Warsong Commander and Mana Spring Totem, the Unleash the Hounds combo was not slow and did not require 7 or 8 mana minimum to pull off. The Hunter combos were just so fast and so powerful that Unleash the Hounds takes my #1 spot. Anyways, that was just my list. Let me know what you think. My name is Jeremy, and that's it for my video on the top 20 most overpowered cards in Hearthstone history. Hey guys, it's me, Jeremy. Thanks for watching my video. If you enjoyed it, definitely make sure to hit that like button so I can tell, and if you're interested, definitely check me out on all the socials, of which you can see over there. And if you really enjoyed the video, make sure to subscribe for some more awesome content in the future, as well as you can check out some of my other videos up here and over there. Anyways, that's going to be it. Thank you so much for watching, and of course, I'll see you guys next time.